Well, Natalie and I have been married for nearly 11 years, and as long as I've known her, she wanted to adopt. That was something that she felt very strongly about.
I was in my small group Bible study one day, and it was the end of the year, and we were all kind of doing prayer requests for the summer. And a girl in I had not shared with my group yet. We had decided to adopt, and a girl in my group, just out of the blue, said, "Well, I have news. We're going to adopt." And I started listening and paying attention, and we'd been in the same group every week all year long. And she said, "We've picked our agency. Their next step is they're coming to do the home visit, and right now we're looking for funds. We're doing the fundraising part of it, and it's not cheap. And so I want y'all to pray for that for us." And I said, "Hey, what's the name of your agency?" And she said, "Christian Homes. It's in Abilene." And I was like, "Okay," and wrote it down. We attended an orientation in August, and then we had found out we were picked in June, so it was a little less than a year. 6 months once we were officially approved, where we were just waiting, where we were out there, we knew we were being viewed by birth mothers, and we were just waiting for the call.
The process of building our book and going through all of the paperwork it ended up actually, although daunting, ended up being a really positive thing. I mean, you're asked questions that, who's ever asked you before, and to have to sit down and put it on paper and articulate your thoughts and your beliefs and how you parent. And I think it's a wonderful exercise regardless of whether you are adopting or not. So going through that was actually, I think, additive. It made the waiting process a little more palatable. And then again, we were incredibly fortunate in the sense that we didn't have to wait too terribly long before we got a call, to move forward.
Pretty short, I think, in the grand scheme of things.
I remember getting a little defensive that day, just feeling like, this is real now. It could actually happen. It could not happen. We could go through all of this. We could, fall in love with the idea of this baby and him, not be ours. Immediately start getting protective of our biological children, of, her feelings. So while we were excited, at the same time, you're kind of mixed all the way through the whole process, quite frankly, until it's officially done. So Ryan is black, and we were open to whatever the Lord had for us. Wasn't exactly the picture that I envisioned maybe when we first got married, that's what our family would look like. But that's been part of the magic of it all. Is it's not that we needed to be stretched in any sense. We didn't have any issues with racial boundaries prior to, but definitely there's a difference between, suddenly having a son who's a different race. Up to this point, we haven't experienced anything negative. We're certainly not naive to think that we won't and that he won't at some point in time, but it's been a real blessing. And in fact, I think it's been part of the magic is that you in a sense you are at that point walking around with kind of a billboard that says that we adopted this child, and it's an easy conversation. It's an easy opportunity to talk about the Lord, and it becomes it just I think it's made things even more special, and it's we've seen the way that decision has impacted our kids. You think about our two older biological children, the way that they'll look at race from this point forward will never be the same, and the decisions that they make and the way they raise their children will never be the same. And we've seen that with our social circles, people that we know and come into contact with. Seen that in people at work. I've had people come and ask about adoption and are more curious, more interested. And I actually think in some ways it's because it is the fact that he is a different color makes it more obvious and makes it even an easier topic of conversation to be open and ask about. I just can't say how thankful I am for the decision that she made. This is I look at pictures of after we leave, and I see pictures of Teresa holding him, and that's his birth mother, but it's not his mother. There's a very distinct feeling. It's very hard to articulate until you're in that situation where, he belongs with us. This was, he's our child. He's my son. But I'm so grateful and so thankful that she made that decision. Because I can see, the realities of the situation that she was in at the time, but selfishly because he gets to be a part of our life.
She actually was making the difficult choice to show her love in a way that wasn't easy for her. And just that she loves him so much, and that it wasn't, I don't want another baby, like they're just in the way. And, you know, she followed through with what she said she was going to do, was going to make a better life for herself, for her 3 boys that she has, and for Ryan, you know, in the decision, as hard as it was. And then it was tough on her. She's tough. Like she's a tough cookie. We thought, does she not feel anything? I mean, this is so weird. She was really tough in the hospital, and she wanted to be tough. And then as she was leaving, you know, there's this tear. And it was hard. It was hard for her because she was like, oh, shoot, I love him. Like, I love him so much that this is really hard, but this is the right decision.
I just love him so much. And we love her at the same time. Mm-hmm. We love her for making the decision. And also, I mean, we've got this whole new crew of people that are a part of our life that has been wonderful. We've got, you know, 3 other little boys and 4 cousin girls that we've met, and aunts and sisters, and you name it, that suddenly we've become a part of their life, and they've added so much joy. They've added a lot of joy to our lives, and things we would have never done before.
Yeah.
Things our children would have never done before. I mean, it's been a real miracle.